Good morning. Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay? I hope so. Happy Friday, Lori. Thank you, Rescue. Kells, what's up? Shooter. Redfoot, what's up? Thank you. Heather Marie, how are you? What's up, Kevin? Wendy, what's up? Thank you, Christine. We will get started here in just a moment. Welcome, welcome. Everybody just walking in to the chat room. Good to see you. Skittle, Railroad Joe, Beach Ferry. Good to see you guys. Thanks, Redfoot. What up? What up? What up? Hope everybody is having a great morning. Hope you can hear me okay. Cleared off my schedule. So we're going to hang out all morning today. We're going to talk about this case. Did you say it was lagging? Nothing I can do about it. Is it still lagging? Hope not. Hmm. Yeah, there shouldn't be any echo going on. Good now? Okay, good. Sorry about that. Thank you, Beach. So, did you guys hit the poll? Make sure you guys go vote on that poll. We're going to pull that up here in the next 15 minutes. We're going to do a couple of those throughout the live stream. Shooter McGavin says, I can't stop thinking about this case. It consumes my mind. Yeah, I hate it. I hate everything about this case. I hate that it happened. I hate how the investigation was conducted from the beginning. I hate the two sketches. I hate knowing that Richard Allen was interviewed early on in the case and he wasn't detained. I mean, the guy came forward and basically confessed to being the suspect and he was not detained. Not only was he not detained, his account was brushed aside. Like, I don't understand that. I hate knowing that. I hate how they changed directions and it appears that they went from the right person into a different direction. I don't like that. Hey, what's up, Don? Good to see you, Don. Jamie, hello. Carol Stanhope. Shout out to Palm Beach. Big up to Palm Beach. Sparky Doo, how are you? Good morning. Need a back rub. Me too. Heather Marie says, I hate they hide all the information. Well, I expect that, but why are they hiding the right information? Like the actual video of the guy walking down the bridge. Why would they hide that? Why wouldn't they put out the original along with, whatever work they did on it? They should be, we should have access to both of those. To the original, of course, edit out the victims and anything like that, but show us the unedited version of that man walking down the bridge. Why wouldn't you do that? BN Mama says, it's crazy to me to think that I've really been on this case for 6 years. Talk about mind torture. Can't imagine how it messes with the families. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, especially that 2019 New Direction presser, 2 months after they just had an anniversary presser and a new prosecutor. Man, this case is just so messed up from day one. And we can't say inexperienced because they had everybody out there. The FBI was out there. Beach Fairy says, can't let it go. Too many questions. The missing piece is linking it all together. How can they have missed Richard Allen? How is KK connected? Is he connected? I don't understand. Well, if you go back and you read all the articles from anybody that is claiming to have a source about, and I think even coming from Richard Allen's defense themselves, the story of the conservation officer. I mean, they make it seem as if they didn't believe him. So you have an image of the guy, right? From what, day 2? So unless Richard Allen came forward on the 13th that night and was like, oh, I heard you guys were looking for these 2 girls. Well, I was out there. I can kind of tell you what I've seen. So either that's the case and it was easily dismissed because they didn't have a suspect. But it doesn't sound like that's what happened. Even Richard Allen's defense isn't even clear on whether or not, like, they called him to meet or if he just met up with them. They're not even clear on that part. They don't know if it was recorded. They said that he was writing down some information on a notepad. So to me, I believe that it was the 13th. That's the only way something like this gets pushed aside or misplaced. Because if he would have came forward let's say even the 14th. Like I would say maybe the 13th and the 14th. It's believable that he was overlooked or they didn't believe him. I don't know what happened. To me, I'm perplexed by it. It's mind-boggling. In my opinion, the man should have been detained at that very moment. I mean, think about it. You have a picture of the suspect. You have all these witnesses who have described this person to you. He's wearing a Carhartt type jacket, a blue or a black jacket, dark jacket, and blue jeans, head down. And here comes this man saying, I was wearing a dark jacket. I was wearing blue jeans. I was there from 1:30 to 3:30. And guess what? I even went on the bridge. So you know the guy that you're looking for, the guy that was wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans that went on the bridge? I look just like him. I know, isn't that weird? Yeah, that is weird, but we think it's just a coincidence. We're not going to do anything about that. So please explain to me, if you can, in the comments, how this man was not detained immediately. Think about it. I was at the bridge during the time the girls went murdered, and I matched the description. Okay, well, I'm going to need to detain you and take you, in for questioning. Okay, so you're telling me I'm detained? Yeah, you're detained. We believe you're suspected of taking part in a murder. Okay, bring in the witnesses. Is this the guy? Yeah, that could be him. Okay, well, we found this bullet. Let's go match it. Let's go do a search of this guy's home. So everything that they did on the 13th of October of 2022, they could have done on day 2. True crime with microwave and baby doll. It's my birthday, Sleuth. Wow. So I want everybody to give a big shout out to Microwave. Happy birthday, brother. Nice. It's on a Friday. Man, I hope you have a great day. Don't get too crazy, man. Don't do anything crazy, but enjoy your day. Go have fun. I love birthdays. Birthdays are fun. I like excuses to celebrate. Birthdays are a good excuse. Carol Stanhope. I was abducted by human traffickers in 1976. I'm sorry to hear that. Also wrote about it. I was 14 years old. What is it about that age, Carol? That's the targeted age, I think. 13, 14. Brown Skittle says, happy birthday. Yeah, shout out to Microwave. Been a huge supporter of the Sleuth Intuition channel from day 1 or maybe day 2. The original was on the front page of the newspaper and looks nothing like what they've turned it into. What's that, Indy? Yeah, Carol, I'm sorry to hear about that. That's awful. I'm glad you made it through. And here's another one. Beach Fairy says, and why did the judge feel the need to recuse himself? Judge Diener. What's his connection? He was overseeing the person we believe to be the muddy, bloody witness, recused himself. I mean, it is a small town. Maybe he's connected to a family member somehow. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's another good point. Why did the judge recuse himself? And why did they go in a new direction 2 months after McClellan steps up? I found that odd too. Like, I want to be on the guy's side, but I mean, there's just something about the dude. Like, I can't put my finger on it. Good point, Beach Fairy. I wonder if law enforcement got tunnel vision on the wrong suspect. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, he should have been the only suspect. They had the sketch from day 2. Well, not day 2. They had it on the 17th. So Trooper Bryant draws up the sketch of this young person. So somebody on the trails seen him near or around there. And that's why I think we get conflicting information, is because we're talking about 2 separate people that are part of the same story. I think it's possible that law enforcement was getting a much larger story confused as one story, when really it was just 2 parts of a larger story. They kept trying to remove the main actor in one story and replace him with this younger guy. But in actuality, there could be 2 separate stories going on, 2 separate perpetrators at the exact same time doing 2 separate things, being witnessed doing these things, and then law enforcement not really piecing it together properly. because they say, oh, well, the witnesses didn't see him on or near, on the trails. Nobody saw him. So that leads me to believe that they got information on the younger sketch some other way, maybe somewhere outside of the trails. Maybe he was seen in town. Maybe he was a suspicious character that was reported somewhere else and then also being near the trail. I don't know. But I have a feeling that's why we get all this conflicting information. At one point, they're talking about somebody they think is the suspect and all of the details surrounding that individual. And then they kind of push him to the side. And then they start referring to this other individual and the details that are surrounding him. And it's confusing the shit out of us when really all they want is for one person to come forward and be like, I know the killer. They don't need help from us. They don't need help from anybody. They just need the people that know to do the right thing. Honestly, that's all any of these cases need. But that's the hardest thing. We were talking to Tim Corbett, and he was talking about the cold cases that he works on over there in northern Indiana. And people that live with these killers, these are victims. These people are being abused constantly. They're being threatened. And sometimes these people don't even survive their relationships with these offenders. So that's why we have cold cases, it seems, is because these people are afraid. And it's hard to tell them not to fear this person. Oh, come forward, do the right thing. They come forward and do the right thing. And then their worst fears are realized. Here comes a family member or friend to threaten them or hurt them. So, I mean, it's just hard. Law enforcement needs to do a much better job of protecting these witnesses. Hey, BN Mama. Kay, what's up? How is it that the conservation officer, Dan Doolin, did not realize BG and Richard Allen were one and the same? Well, why are you saying Dan Doolin? I mean, we can't just find the most popular conservation officer and throw him under the bus. We don't know he's the one that conducted that interview. I'm sure he knows who it was, and it could have been him, but I mean, I just don't know. I don't want to throw the guy under the bus. This could be a great guy. He's popular for a reason. Maybe he's dedicated to his craft, his job. But yeah, Dan, if you're the one that did that interview, you got to speak up, man. You were standing on the stage on some of these press conferences, so you got some explaining to do. But I don't see him having the success that he's had in law enforcement and being the guy who he appears to be, letting something like that slide. So if it was incompetence on his part, I definitely am calling that a suspicious situation for sure. But I don't think it was him. We have to we can't be lazy. That's one thing I learned when I first started YouTube and investigating cold cases and talking about cold cases. Is one thing I pointed out to myself was a self-critique was that even though I was digging deep, I was still being lazy. You don't want to accept the first layer. Boom. You hear conservation officer, you go digging, you don't quite find anything. And then boom, here's this Dan Doolin guy. He's searching Riley Park. He's searching all of this. He's doing this using drones. And we find out the DNR or the conservation officers were a big part of the search for Libby and Abby. So yeah, his name is there, but we get lazy and we use the first thing we see. That's why a lot of people attack the families, because the family, yeah, we know law enforcement's going to look at them first. Of course, why wouldn't they? That's what they're going to do. So that's why we shouldn't be doing it. But the reason that armchair detectives look at family and friends and things like that is because it's just pure laziness. They don't want to. If you do real digging, it could take months and months just to find a tiny little anything of significance. If anything at all. But as soon as you find something, your eyes light up. Like, oh, look at this connection. They're friends with this person, and this person's friends with that person. Solved. It's just not that easy. Sometimes it is that easy. You had Richard Allen. He's like, yeah, I was there, guys. Look. Hey, it's me. I mean, I just can't explain what happened. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. The dude came forward. Hey, I was there. Hey, this is what I was wearing. You know, he had no clue he was caught on tape. If he had any clue that he was, well, I guess it really wouldn't matter because he knows that he was seen. He knows those three teenage girls seen him or they saw him. And then they also know that, or Richard Allen knows that a woman who was hiking got a good look at him. All right. We try to get more of these comments here. Darren Barber investigates. What's up? Salute Sleuth and the chat. Indiana is in the house. I really believe this whole case hinges on the conservation officer. Did Richard Allen contact a police officer that he knew? What is the officer involved? That's a good question. I mean, I would really know. I would really like to know who he spoke with, because if to me it sounds like he came forward either the 13th or the 14th. Because how do you have somebody that walks up to you? Because on the 15th, they had the video. They knew who they were looking for. They had a suspect in a blue coat and blue jeans. Okay. Now, if that son of a bitch comes forward to you and says, "Hey, I was there that day," you're gonna arrest him immediately, or you're gonna detain him at the very least. You're not gonna go, "Okay, this is an interesting tip narrative. Let me follow up on the three girls that this guy who matches our suspect seen." Yeah, that's where I need to go with my investigation. The three girls. That's my focus. Not this guy who's probably the killer. I mean, he's wearing the same thing as this. He probably was wearing the same shit talking to the investigator for all I know. It just doesn't make any sense. So I I subscribe to the thought or the idea that he came forward on the 13th or the 14th. That's the only way you let something like that kind of go to the wayside, or somehow get lost in all this information, is prior to having the bridge guy image. So I'm sure they didn't have that until the 15th, maybe even the 16th. But I'm assuming on the 14th they had the phone and they had an opportunity to look at the video themselves. Jamie says, "Do you think maybe they just pegged him as one of those weirdo types that insert themselves into cases?" I mean, that's fine, but I don't think that you should be determining that outside of a grocery store to somebody who matches the description. I think you got to figure that part out, you know? I mean, imagine if Ted Bundy came forward and was like, "Yeah, I did it. I killed those girls." Oh, you're obviously too anxious, and you really want us to believe that. We know that you're lying, okay? Nobody's just going to come out and admit, that they did it. You know, I'll go ahead and take your information and we'll get back to you. I don't know. That shit just does not happen. And if it does, that's really crazy. Digital, what's up? No way to figure it out without more info. And then said guy was located and not interested in. Yeah, there was a police bulletin put out right around the time of the new sketch where they literally said, like, this guy is no longer a person of interest. And we all know that the older sketch looks just like Richard Allen. Let me pull that shit up. Remember, this is all just my opinion, and I have no professional training or anything like that. But I mean, we all have our own opinion, and we all have the right to speak our minds. It doesn't make us wrong, and it doesn't make anybody better than anybody else. It just might help you agree with somebody if they have a nice resume. It really only helps with that. Helps you to better decide. True Crime Housewife says, "Hey, I've been cigarette free for a month, still smoking a little herb, but man, do I feel better." Great job. Cigarettes are hard to kick. I had a buddy who still smokes, and he's been trying to quit for 12 years. So congratulations to you, True Crime Housewife. Some things are just really addictive, especially to me. It's like um, we're living our lives in a certain way, right? And certain things that we do on a day to day basis cause stresses or things. And that little cigarette or that little habit or something is really a band aid for that. So until you can fix the things that you're using cigarettes to cover up or whatever it is, it's going to be really hard to quit those things. Because I can, even me, I don't smoke, but I mean, if you give me a cigarette and I smoke it, I know damn well that that's enjoyable. The high that you get from nicotine and things like that. So it could be extremely addicting, especially just the what do they call that? Fixation. Just you're just doing something. I'm just smoking, not realizing this is having these horrible effects on your body. Congratulations. I wish you success in that journey. Rose says, "Happy birthday, microwave." Yeah, go get some cake for breakfast with baby doll. Picture sketch. Kay's asking, why doesn't it bother anyone that no one who knows Richard Allen in real life didn't recognize Richard Allen to be BG if he is BG? It seems impossible to me that no one who knows him would have recognized him. See, I believe that they did. We have a lot of these weird things on 4chan where people are talking about Richard. We have just weird things like that. But why should they believe he did it? You have in 2019 a new direction presser where they're saying, "Hey, we no longer suspect this guy." Well, that's the guy that looks like Richard Allen. They know that Richard Allen came forward and talked to a conservation officer. So it would be hard for any family member or friend watching this on the news. They're like, "Hey, this is our suspect. This is who we're looking for." And then in real life, in real time, you're like, "Well, I know he went and talked to police." There's some kind of confusion going on. And then 2019 comes. Anybody who was on the fence about Richard Allen is no longer on the fence anymore. They're wiping their head, the sweat away, and they're going, "Okay, guys, I told you it wasn't Richard Allen. It's this young guy. Look, um, the older sketch isn't even considered a suspect anymore." So honestly, I don't blame them. They've been giving every opportunity by law enforcement to deny that Richard Allen had anything to do with it. They're giving them every chance to deny it. In my opinion. I mean, that sketch looks just like Richard Allen with the goatee and everything. Makes no sense. Like, I mean, that's him. They're like, "We're not sure on the hat." Well, there you go. That's the hat he wears. There, I put the right hat on for you. Microwave says, "Thanks, everyone. Wife is taking me out to dinner." Nice. And now you're talking. Sounds like a great time, man. Man, I need to go out. I wanted to get out yesterday. I was feeling bottled up. Don says, "Happy birthday, microwave. Now I have a reason to celebrate today." Carol says, "The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy." Yep, at every opportunity. Hey, V. Marie, good to see you. Digital says, "With all the mishaps, FBI jumps on it and comes out with the statement that procedures were followed with Richard Allen interview." Yeah, how does something like that happen? I think we need to focus more on that. We need to talk about that. But we were talking with cold case expert Tim Corbett, and he says law enforcement do weird things all the time. I know we've spoken with some law enforcement. They said, "Oh, investigators wouldn't act like that during a press conference, or they wouldn't mislead." Um, we got a different opinion from Tim. You know, and this is a guy with over 40 years of experience, homicide, everything, cold cases, and he's saying, "Yeah, law enforcement will do weird things like that." And we talked with him a little bit about the Delphi murders, and he said, "Yeah, for sure, law enforcement will do some weird things to use the public." And to hear a professional kind of clear that up just makes it seem even more that much more strange. Redfoot says, in my opinion, he picked the most watered down law enforcement officer he could find because he knew that the conservation officer would either blow it off or forget. And from what I understand of the story, the conservation officer didn't believe Richard Allen, which is strange. I don't understand like why you wouldn't believe him. This is your guy. That's the case right there. You solved it. The guy confessed. You have him. You did a great job. Bring him in. There's only one answer. He picked the conservation officer strategically. He came forward, most likely on the 13th, which would be brilliant. You come forward before they find the girls or any evidence that you're involved, and you come forward. And maybe you act like you're lying. Maybe you act like, I don't know. I'm just trying to explain. I don't know. We don't know anything about Richard Allen. So I don't want to say, hey, this guy's really smart, or hey, this guy's not so smart. We don't know. We also hear people who commit these types of murders that they've most likely committed these crimes in the past. He has no record. So he's not the dumbest guy. So whatever his actions were, they bought him 6 years of freedom. Beach says, yeah, exactly. It's just off. I know they don't have to say why they're recusing themselves, but if it was just a small town connection, conflict of interest, why so shady? Yeah, and I think they should explain why they're recusing themselves. And I understand the most important thing is that they did it for the right reasons, and maybe people wouldn't recuse themselves if they had to disclose that information. So, it's hard to say. Hey, EL, good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Dan Doolin said it was him. You can't just say that, Kay. You got to tell me where I can find that information. You can't go around spreading that stuff. But if he did say it, I'm extremely interested. Please post the link if you could. But just so you guys know, if you say things like this, Dan Doolin said it, it was him. I'm going to call you out on it because that's extremely important. And being who I am, I want my hands on that information. That furthers this discussion. That's very important information in what we're trying to find out here. Yeah, we need confirmation on everything we do. And if we don't have confirmation, it's not the end of the world to say that. To say, hey, I don't have confirmation on this. Here's something very interesting that I've heard, but I don't have confirmation on it. Though that's the way I like things to be outlined. Because that way I have direction. It's a very helpful comment. And it gives me a direction to go. It gives me something to look for. And then we can start piecing this information together. Just for peace of mind. I mean, obviously, this case is the strangest case ever. It only gets stranger, as time goes on. Something's not right here, and if we want any understanding, because we can't stop looking at this damn case, and I apologize to the Germans and the Patties and the Williams. And all of the family, because I know it's very weird to them. I know that it's weird. But I think when it's all said and done, I think the curiosity is going to pay off because we're going to find, I think we're going to find a couple rats um, squirming there in the sewers of Delphi that a lot of people might be surprised about. And honestly, it's our curiosity that's kept this case up in the forefront. I mean, look, you had the Stevenson case even trying to jump on the coattail of that popularity just so they can gain some help. You know, they're willing to look into those clues and those leads because of all the attention. I mean, look at the attention their case got, and that's great for them. RMB. I can see probable cause for search warrant taking a few months, but not much more than 2. I don't think it would have taken anything. It would have been just like it was on the 13th, right? They found the tip narrative, led him to Richard Allen. They talked with him. He admitted to being there and not letting anybody use his gun. That's what they wanted. They wanted to know where the gun was, who had access to the gun. Those were going to be their suspects. You know, and it could include Richard Allen and anybody who had access to that gun. Well, he says, hey, nobody had access to my guns or my ammunition. Okay, well, guess what? You just made yourself our number one suspect. So everything that happened on the 13th should have happened the same day that he confessed to being on the bridge. The same way they found the tip narrative is the same way he came forward and provided the information that was in the tip narrative. They didn't, everything that was put into his probable cause affidavit with the witnesses, the bullet, all that information, they already had it. There's nothing in Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit that was found after his search or anything they didn't have from the first week of the murders. Nothing. Let me zip down here. I don't want to get too lost. Oh, Cindy. Hey, good morning with the super chat and super chat from Justin Wally. Thank you so much, guys. Sleuth Intuition. I know we don't have all facts yet, but so far, what are the facts that support Richard Allen being guilty? Facts that support him being innocent. I don't think there's anything showing that he's innocent at all. The only thing, I mean, he puts himself there. What else? We have a video, right? We have a video of a guy in a blue jacket and blue jeans, and he's telling those girls, guys, go down that hill because I'm going to kill you down there. You know, we're not going down there because I want to show you something and then I'm going to go back on my way. Guy in a blue jacket, hat, and blue jeans walked up to the girls with a gun and said, guys, down the hill, right? Not guys down the hill because I'm going to show you this really cool hiking trail that I found, or hey, there's something really neat down here. You guys should check it out. No, he's like, go down there because I need to remove you from the public eye because I'm going to hurt you. Now, that same guy that we see on that video, there's a guy named Richard Allen who claims to be at the bridge from 1:30, and we know that the car that was parked at the CPS matches his vehicle, and we have him on camera, apparently what appears to be his vehicle, driving by at 1:30. No need to argue it. He said it. He said, hey, parked by the old farm building. I was there at 1:30. There's no need to argue that. So he's already admitted to that part. That part shouldn't even be up for debate. We know that that is factual. Those are all facts. He was there at 1:30. He parked at the CPS building. You guys can say, oh, the farm building by his house, and he hiked through the trenches. No, he parked at the CPS building. He admitted it. He came forward and said he was there at the time the girls were there and the time the girls were abducted. And he also admitted to being on the bridge, matching the description. Now, the only way that he's not involved is if somebody came forward or if somebody came and set him up from the very beginning. You have people out there claiming that the video is faked. Why would you fake a video? You're better off with no video. Because if you create a fake video, that's evidence. People can look at it and determine, hey, this was faked. And plus, they better have the original. So you have the original and the fake if you're law enforcement, right? So why fake the one on the right? that's now evidence of your motivation. You just faked this. So you're obviously motivated to set this guy up. So now you've just become a suspect. So that those kind of theories just don't make any sense to me whatsoever. Um, but them planting a bullet there, yeah. But then again, why? Why would they do that? Thank you, Jill. Jill with the super sticker. Welcome. Welcome to the conversation. And I did skip a bunch of comments. Let me see if I can grab a couple on those. Thank you, V. If you guys want to hit the Cash App. Oh, I missed you, Frank. Good to see you. Frank Meister in the house. I agree. I'm the same way. I want to see documents or confirmation. Hey, Zero. When's the trial set up to start? I'm not sure. There's just so many changes going on. Ruckus in the house. Good to see you. Justin says the profile doesn't fit though. Family man, married for decades, holds down a full time job, keeps to himself, gets along with people in the community. That part doesn't add up. Yeah. The only thing I can say to that is the loss of his brother, John Walker, passed away, very recent to the crime. That took his wife out of the picture. She had to now fill in the shoes of her brother, who was taking care of their mother, who was very ill. And they were in Peru. Peru is the same place where we know Kagan Klein resides, right? So that could be a connection there. Peru High School. There's a connection there with the friends. So I don't know. But we hear of crimes like this happening after bankruptcies, loss of a job, something very, very stressful. So he could have been going through a stressful time, could have been drinking. Sounds like he might have some mental health issues. So it just could have been a combination of things. Him not being in the right state of mind out on the trails, not expecting there to be any kids and things like that. And just seeing all these young people around, him being tempted and seeing the girls cross that bridge over to that secluded south end of the bridge, he may not have been able to resist that opportunity with what was going on in his mind at that time. So that's the only thing I can think of is very stressful time, mental health, maybe a combination of things. But what 60,000 is appropriate to cover a phone call? I don't know what that means. They found that blue jacket and unspent round that they can do forensics on his gun. I don't think they found the jacket, but they found the unspent round, and they did do forensics on it. And they should have done they should have searched Richard Allen's home from the very day he came forward. It makes no sense why they didn't detain him. The only thing I can think of is that it happened on the 13th or the 14th before they had access to images of the bridge guy. Because I mean, if Richard Allen comes up to you and says, "Yeah, I was there at 1:30 to 3:30," oh well, that's the window. The suspect would be there. Okay, like that already should be interesting. Just that window of time, 1:30 to 3:30, you should already have your ears like popped up. You know what I mean? Your ears, either that or you're in the wrong damn business. You should not be anywhere near law enforcement. The girls went missing between 1:30 and 3:30. Boom, you're up. It makes no sense, guys. I don't know how to explain it. It's either law enforcement is protecting a witness and they just made up some story and they didn't expect everybody to kind of dwell on it the way they have. I'm not sure if those kinds of things happen. We hear other people are involved. Are these the other people? Richard Allen and his accomplice. Maybe his accomplice knows the conservation officer. He's like, well, just go talk to this guy, and then we'll take care of it. And also, why misfile the tip? Why not just not file it at all? if you're up to something, why make a fake video? Why put forth a tip narrative? Why just not destroy it? To me, no evidence is better than false evidence, because false evidence is potentially evidence of somebody falsifying something, right? That's evidence in itself. If you can't fake it 100%, then it's now evidence itself. Then later said he'd never been there before, that there was no reason for his round to be there. No one else. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I think I'm in the middle of a conversation there. So was BTK. That argument is a tough sell. But with the BTK, I don't know. Yeah, it was a park ranger too. But when BTK was caught, it was almost as if a lot of this information came out. Nothing's come out about Richard Allen. We've had like somebody that hung out with him at a bar come forward. Nobody's coming forward. We're talking about a guy who married his high school sweetheart, no real criminal record, seems to be a normal family man. But that's because, once again, we're being lazy. That's just what we see. Not everybody's going to have, like me, I don't go on my Facebook. I don't use Facebook. You're not going to find anything about me on my Facebook that I've been doing in the last 6, 7 years. I just don't like Facebook. This guy, I don't think he even has a Facebook. So just because you can't find an online presence doesn't mean you know these people. Doesn't mean you know anything about them. For all we know, the people that are closest to him don't even know this guy. For all we know, he's like, hey, I'm going to work. And then on his lunch break, he's doing voyeurism or planning another murder. Like, we just don't know this man. His wife and family may not know who he is. He may not have even known that they were going to commit a murder. He could be down there and witnessing this horrendous crime and now being part of the kidnapping part of it. There's no way he can come forward. For all we know, the killer left the girls just there, and he tried to hide everything. You know what I mean? He probably thought he was going to get caught that night. He was out there for an hour and a half. He could have been sitting there. For all we know, the gun, the unspent bullet, was meant for him. Could have been sitting there like, what have I done? I'm going to attempt to take my own life. Gun jams. Like, we have absolutely no clue. Banter Lion says, I feel he had a thing for Libby. Something was going on, I agree, between... Honestly, what I think happened was Kagan Klein provided the access to Richard Allen. I don't think he had anything to do with the crime. I don't think he planned... I don't think he had anything to do with planning it. But I think Richard Allen and another person did. And they have a very loose connection with the Kleins. Or Keegan, anyway. I think that was the access to Libby. And I think something happened between the 3rd and the 10th. Either they tried to meet up in real life, the girls discovered who he was, or he just really wanted to meet them. Or they pissed him off somehow. We know that there was money and stuff like that going to Libby. So between the 3rd and the 10th, or the 3rd and the 12th, I think all the answers for as far as the motivation are there. And Richard Allen's keeping that part a secret. I think BTK is the exception, not the rule, though. Yeah, he's the first person to come to mind. I know there's been other serial killers that have lived a double life. And who knows? Richard Allen could be a one-off. We don't know. Like I said, he was married his high school sweetheart, married his whole life. Um, we don't know. We assume that he was a violent and um, maybe a bad husband, but in all actuality, he could be abused. He could be the one his wife is tormenting, and things go both ways. We just don't know. But the only thing that I know that is a fact is that his brother-in-law, who apparently he was close with, passed away. And once he passed away, that took Richard Allen's wife away. So if he has all this freedom and his wife is in Peru, I can see him being attracted to being in Peru and then possibly maybe doing some things he's not supposed to. He's no longer under the watchful eye of his wife, right? She's consumed, she's busy, brokenhearted. She writes in her Facebook how much she cared and adored her brother. Well, now he's gone. And not only is her brother gone, she's doing the hard task that he was left with, which is very honorable to be taking care of your mother. But in no way is that an easy thing to be doing, I'm sure. So, with her being stressed out, maybe not being the best wife at the time, maybe being a little more selfish, and he's for the first time since being in high school, this man is now on his own. He's on his own. Okay. Now, what do you do with a bad man who's been locked away um, under the watchful eye of marriage and just normalism? Okay. So you this entire time you've had that beast inside of you. And for all we know, he's committed other murders throughout the years. We don't know. But this man is all of a sudden, and I'm trying to paint a picture because this is the picture I'm seeing beginning to develop, that there was a void and he was lost. And in that void, somehow it led to these murders. But I could be way off. Love to hunt, love to hunt. Welcome to the chat. One person said she saw and passed Libby and Abby and saw Richard Allen there at the time. Yeah, that's the witness who stopped there for a leisurely stroll. She pulled up, I believe, I don't know, I want to say 146. So she got there just before Kelsey pulled up. So she got there just before Kelsey pulled up, and as she's walking, and this is a very short time frame. Think about it. So she pulls up, I think, at like 140 or something like that. I'd have to pull up the PCA, but it was just before Kelsey gets there, and she sees the guy on the bridge. Now she sees the guy on the bridge. She turns and she continues her walk. So I don't know if she came to the bridge and turned around or came to the bridge and walked towards the Freedom Bridge and then back. The timing, it only takes like 20 minutes to walk that entire trail to the bridge and back. We know that because who was it? Julie Melvin? I think she timed it and she was sprinting. It was like 13 minutes or something like that to the bridge. So we'll say, I don't know, 25 minutes there and back, 30 minutes. So why did she stop? Why did this witness stop, go look at the bridge, and then leave? What is that all about? Because if you saw the girls and you're there at 146 and they're getting dropped off there at like 149. Well, actually, I think the girls were dropped off at like 146 and Kelsey lingered there for a couple minutes or something. But yeah, I mean, we're talking minutes here. So from the moment that you see the guy on the bridge, on the first platform, 50 yards away, and then you turn around and walk back to your car, you're witnessing the girls already. That means that the bridge guy is right there. You know what I mean? Where is he? He's right there, in yelling distance almost. And we know from Libby's photos that he wasn't really on, he would have to be like right there with them to be on the bridge. We don't see him on one side of the bridge, we don't see him on the other. So I'm wondering if shortly after she took that photo of Abby out on the bridge, he comes walking out onto the bridge. Keith Reynolds says Richard Allen is as guilty as his head is fat. He does have a fat head. Yeah, he looks just like this guy. I can't get over that. So I'm wondering, when she saw the two witnesses or was passing by them going back to her vehicle as they're walking towards the high bridge, I'm wondering at some point Richard Allen isn't just hiding. You know, he's like, oh wow, there's a lot of people out here. Um, I just saw some teenagers, a single woman. He's like, I may choose to victimize somebody out here today. I don't know. I just don't see that. I see him coming there to murder. But why Libby and Abby? That points back to Anthony Shots, right? Anna says, I think the young guy sketch must have been created from a witness who only saw eyes of a suspect. There's information the bridge guy may have had a scarf across his lower face and cap on his head. I agree. So why would you give the guy afro? Oh, we know you didn't see the hair, but I'm gonna go with the curly fro. Yeah, that looks good on my sketch. It just doesn't make any sense. There's just certain details. And why would you just give him this baby face? I don't know. I just think if you're going to do a sketch and his face was covered, in the sketch, you should cover his face. You don't give the guy buck teeth, you know, and a curled a mustache, a Wyatt Earp stash. You know, you don't just guess. We know for sure one of the POIs who was called in for a polygraph, but they didn't polygraph the guy who came forward at the time saying he was there in blue jeans. Man, it's just the strangest thing ever. So you have the fact that the guy came forward, matching the description, admitting to being there at the time that the girls went missing. Why is this person not detained at that very moment? Like, I mean, you just struck gold. The man you're looking for is right in front of you. All the information that's in the probable cause affidavit is in your hands. You have the witnesses, you have the bullet, you have the muddy and bloody lady. Well, you actually didn't have her. I think she came forward 2 months after the crime, which is another strange thing. Telling you, strangest case ever. And it's like nobody is being held accountable for all of this. You had the killer in your hands. The suspect that you say committed this crime came forward and told you, yeah, I was there. I didn't do it, but I was there. Boom, snatch that guy up, run the unspent bullet, run it against his gun like you did October 13th of 2022. Case is over. None of us would even be talking about this case. It would be another strange case that was solved right away. You guys remember that case where they had the video of the guy, you know, boom, done deal. What is the reason we are still talking about this case? There's a reason for this. There's a reason that he wasn't detained at that moment. There's a reason that the conservation officer didn't say, "Hey, why are you guys not following up on the guy I talked to? He matches the description." There's a reason we don't have any of that. We don't have any family members coming forward, especially when you hear the voice and he's talking about, "Oh, looks like there's a wheelchair coming up. You know, he's talking all weird like this." Sounds just like the damn bridge guy. Guys down the hill, with that accent. Here comes a wheelchair coming up. Guys down the hill. It's the exact same. I don't know about the guy's part, but I mean, as a family member, you're looking up at this bridge guy sketch. You're looking at the guy walking on the bridge, and you're hearing that voice. There's no way that you don't know that that's Richard Allen. Okay. So let's say that you tell yourself, "Oh shit, well, that's Richard Allen." Well, I know that Richard Allen went and talked to the conservation officer and they cleared him. Okay. So you might stew over that until 2019. They got a new direction presser. You're like, "Oh, this is it. They're finally going to tell us, it was this Richard Allen guy." No, it's a young guy. We're no longer interested in the Richard Allen looking guy. So if you were ever planning to turn in Richard Allen for this crime after the 2019 presser, I don't think you are anymore. I think you're more confused than ever. And you're asking yourself, well, why the hell they keep showing the bridge guy when they know that's Richard Allen? But we know Richard Allen's cleared. So if anybody was stuck in a conundrum, it's those people that knew Richard Allen and suspected him, because law enforcement seems like they were pushing them further and further away from the right answer. You have to ask yourself why. Are they not good at their job, or are they misleading people? Looks like Kay is referring to a guy named Jesse Snyder. I do know, Kay, there's two sides to every story. I'm not going to go gung-ho on one thing without hearing both sides. But I get what you're saying, and I know who you're talking about. Abby's grandma, hello, Sleuth. I agree with you. He put himself there. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, you don't even have to go hunt the guy anymore. He just did your job for you. You don't have to go searching for a suspect. You don't even need to put the damn video out there. You have the video and you have the guy. How many people came forward and said, "I was there matching the description on the bridge from 1:30 to 3:30, the moment in time those girls went missing"? How many people were there could say that? I'm pretty sure he's the only person who could say that. That from 1:30 to 3:30, I was wearing a blue jacket, blue jeans, and was on that bridge. I mean, how many people are going to say that? How many people did that day? That were alone? I mean, really sit there and think about that. What it would take for that to slip through the cracks. Anna says Libby looked like Richard Allen's daughter. Libby and Abby went to the south end of the bridge where they were partially trapped. Predator identified prey. That's what I'm thinking. That kind of plays over to the lone wolf theory. This guy's just out of his mind. He may have been looking for the right opportunity. He may have even considered the three younger teen witnesses. He may have stalked the single female, because we know that single female was quickly met with Libby and Abby. So they are now occupying the same space and time. She's leaving. She's going to the public area where her car is. The two young girls, if he's stalking them from afar at this point, no longer on the bridge, maybe in the trees watching, and he sees those girls cross the bridge. But why are they crossing the bridge? Did somebody tell him, "Hey, we're going to be waiting on the south end of the bridge"? I don't know. It just seems like everything points to a premeditated murder. And when I see everything pointing to premeditated, it takes me back to Anthony Shots. I just don't know why they selected the girls. Maybe he selected Libby because, like you said, it looks like his daughter. If it looks like his daughter, it may look like his wife when she was young, his type, I guess, so to speak. I don't know. But I mean, it makes sense to me. Catfishing this person, you can't keep it on social media and in the fantasy realm. You have to, you're trying to bring this fantasy to reality. It's like, and what we know about Richard Allen is he doesn't really have a social media footprint. So if he's not quite sure how social media works, he may get all, oh, like he's got a new little pet. Justin says, I agree. He's probably guilty. And we don't know, innocent until proven guilty. And we should be arguing for both. But honestly, I really don't have an argument for him being innocent. Hard to get past him being there at the exact time wearing the clothes, but the prosecution is not being themselves favors in terms of optics. Yeah, and they don't have the defense for Richard Allen doesn't have to prove that he's innocent. The prosecution has to prove that he's guilty. So Richard Allen could appear to be guilty in the courtroom. Like, yeah, I think he's guilty. He's most likely guilty. But if there's one shred of doubt, he is supposed to walk. That's the American way. And I agree with that. If you can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this is your man, let him walk and keep doing your job. Keep pushing, keep digging. But I think that they found something. They found something during his search. They were digging in the yard. They took a lot of material from his home and they kept a lot of stuff secret. There's no reason for that. They are trying to protect a case. Maybe for the first time they actually have a case. Everything else could have just been smoke and mirrors. Them chasing their tails, not doing a very good job and not being very good at their job. Those are all possibilities. It seems like every year they're like, we're just starting. Okay, why'd you wait a whole year to just start? Okay, 2019. Bear with us, we're just starting. Okay, well, why are you starting in 2019? It's already been 2.5 years. Why are you starting now? Why do you keep restarting when the damn guy came to you at the beginning? If I keep talking about it and thinking about it, I get so frustrated. Because I mean, all of the torment and all of the anger the family's been going through, it just seems so meaningless. It's like, unless they had some kind of weird agreement that they stumbled upon, some kind of corruption, CSAM ring, I don't know. Did they sit down with the family and say, hey, look, we might have to put justice on the back burner so that we can get justice for all these people? And maybe they said, okay, well, we understand. Maybe that was the new direction. I don't know. But why would they do that and leave a guilty man? Maybe they knew Richard Allen, what role he played. Maybe he's not the hands-on killer. Maybe he's the guy that needs to get them down the hill. Like, hey, your job is to make sure that they don't go back the opposite way of the bridge. Get them down the hill and we'll be there. That's all you got to do. He's like, that's all I got to do. And you're going to give me all that money? Yep. We're going to give you this money. You're going to do that. I just feel like there's big parts of this that we just don't know what's going on. And I have a feeling between the 3rd and the 12th, either this guy started becoming afraid. He realized, hey, my wife's away and I've been fooling around with this young girl. This could ruin my life. She'll leave me. My brother-in-law just died. She's taking care of my mother-in-law. Her life is hell. And I'm over here trying to hook up with some young kid. To me, that could be motivation. I gotta make sure that this doesn't come out. I can see Richard Allen being this basket case, not having real understanding of things, the way things are working, social media and all that, to really panic, to really see his life flash before his eyes. Yeah, they should have knocked that shit down, tore the walls down. Zero says, well, they are protecting all the witnesses. Yeah, they're not protecting them now. I mean, If they would have had that man in custody, we would have been where we were when that probable cause affidavit came out. And that would have been the first week of the crime. I just don't understand why we're here 6 years later still talking about it with a man in custody, and we're still confused about the crime. I mean, what other case and where else has this ever happened? Where they have the guy that looks just like the bridge guy in custody, yet we are more confused now than we ever have been. I would like to hear of any other case like this. Boston says, this is to Kate List. Even the ladies sitting to the back were acting the same way. Nick had to take time away from the case to go in there and deal those abusive people. He should not have had to go through all that. I know lots of alcoholics and people with mental illness who would never harm a child. He's likely a predator. That's what I'm saying. This is probably a closet predator. You know, his wife goes to work. He goes to work, and maybe on his lunch break, he's doing some weird stuff. He wakes up early in the morning. He's maybe he's got some magazines hidden away or something. You know, there could very well be a secret side of this person that we don't know. I just don't think you can underestimate people. We know nothing about this guy. We know nothing about him. He only lived in Delphi 5 years prior to the crime. I think like 10 years total. So yeah, he wasn't really well known in that area. Love to hunt. Richard Allen's big lie is that he said he didn't see the two girls. Man, I don't know. It's just such a weird case. Like, I mean, what if they were trying to set this guy up for something? My question is, why would you, if you're going through this elaborate setup, why? What are you doing? You're motivated by something, and you're motivated by something that says you have to be in that area at that time. Why are you risking everything in the middle of the day on a public trail and on somebody's property? You're not in the middle of the wilderness. Why didn't you, let's say you're doing a ritualistic killing. Why didn't you just kidnap somebody off the street and take them? You know, if this is like some kind of conspiracy, I just don't see why they would do it the way they did it. To me, if this is it's more of like three idiot predators under the influence of something are coming up with these dumb ideas and these dumb plans. Like, yeah, they could get some of it really right, like them using the bridge and the catfish method to lure the girls to the south end of the bridge. Like, that's a perfect plan. That's why they got away today. But all the other stuff is just really doesn't make any sense. So I just don't understand if it is some kind of weird conspiracy and they're trying to, frame Richard Allen. I don't see the motivation for that. Why would you go through all that when you can just come up with a better plan from the beginning? Unless the real killer, okay? Now, this is a huge hypothetical, and this is going down conspiracy alley. Now, if the real killer was there and is maybe from an influential family, I could see them setting up a Richard Allen. Maybe the actual killer got footage of Richard Allen while he was there, you know? Maybe the girls did actually get a video of Richard Allen, but the guys down the hill and all that other stuff. See, all this stuff is possible. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no motivation for it to go to those lengths when you could just do something completely different. Like, why? That's the only thing I can think of is some idiot committed the crime and he comes from a very influential family in that area. Boom, you come up with this whole, who do we pin it on scheme? Oh, well, let's pin it on Ron Logan. Well, that's not working. Well, we can pin it on this guy. Well, that's not working anymore. Well, what about the guy who said he was out on the bridge? We can pin it on that guy. it's just not realistic. To me, the realistic scenario is the Anthony shots, the catfishing, and the premeditated murder, and then most likely panic afterward. Maybe they didn't plan to murder him. Maybe one party didn't think they were murdering. Maybe they just thought it was going to be a sexual assault or some type of perverted event. But to me, that's the only thing that makes sense. This fake video and fake image of Abby and Libby and all that stuff. Why would you do that? Why would you create the evidence? You're basically creating evidence that could eventually point at you. It's so easy to find out if things are faked, and apparently they have the real video. I don't know. So I can't get aboard on that. I can't subscribe to any of that. It doesn't make any sense. It's just very strange. Why would you do it? Why are you motivated to commit a murder in the middle of the day in a small time frame and risk getting caught? You would have to be motivated by a shit ton of money and under a specific time frame. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm not hating on people that believe in that or think that or are going down that rabbit hole, because there is something very strange going on here. We can all sense it. We all know something's not right with this case. So to me, that's all it is. You're feeling that. Your intuition is telling you, hey, there's something beneath the surface here that's not right. So your mind starts to find out what that is, and it'll lead you down some really strange things. But I just don't see creating evidence that will point at you. Creating a fake video is evidence. Where did this video come from? There's a trail there. And it would be easier just not to have the video. Yeah, it might look like a guy on a trail, but to an investigator, it's going to look like somebody was tampering with this video. They're going to look past the video. They're going to look at the tampering, and then they're going to follow that. So why would a killer or somebody involved in the murder do something like that? Why would they create a trail back to themselves? It just does not make any sense. Jill Elaine, hello. Welcome. Stephanie Michelle, welcome. Yeah, people saying Doug Carter faked the video. That shit. I'm more concerned about the lack of information being released. Like, we don't need to know anything about the crime scene, the manner of death. That's fine. The killer will know that, and they can have confirmation that way. But we need to know how this happened, why it happened, how do we prevent it from happening again. And law enforcement just needs to come out and admit that they don't know. Like, if you don't know, just tell us you don't know. Don't come out here with all this bullshit. Like with the 2019 presser, be patient. The family just found out about this 2 hours ago. Don't bother them for 2 weeks. You just came out with new information. If anything, they would want people to bother them. Like, what the hell are you talking about? If this is new information, we need to jump on it. What do you mean? Let's take a 2-week break. Oh, for 2 weeks, we're going to cool out. We're going to let this killer who just saw his face all over the media, we're going to give him a two-week head start. Don't bother anybody. That shit does not make any sense, guys. It is the strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't know how to explain it. He may not be into online porn. He could have had violent drawings in those notebooks. Yeah, he could have been into some creepy shit, right? Is there prostitution in Carroll County? I wonder if any of these working girls recognize Richard Allen and could kind of talk about what kind of shit he's into, or if he was somebody that was out there kind of leading a double life. Because I know there's men that get busted for that kind of stuff all the time. Have some kind of weird foot fetish or something. Does anybody know if Richard Allen walks with a small limp? Did he play sports in high school? I don't know. Yeah, that's true. It is your right as an American. Speedy trial. I'm not going to give you 10 years to convict me of a murder. And maybe that's it. Maybe they just didn't have enough information on the guy. Kept him at arm's reach. Oh, the Green River Killer. There you go. There's another one. That's another good example. Brown Skittle says BTK and Green River were very organized killers. I don't think Richard Allen is organized. Just take a muddy and bloody sightings as evidence to this. Well, Green River, I mean, he really wasn't organized. He just knew how to hide. He could hide right in plain sight. Um, he would pick up a victim right in public. He would show him his wallet, and inside the wallet are pictures of his kids and his wife. And he had no problem finding a wife. He had multiple wives, girlfriends. Um, yeah, to me, he's more of a Richard Allen type. If Richard Allen's a killer and he did this and he's responsible for other crimes and things like that, he's kind of like a mix between the BTK and the Green River, you know? I don't know. The Green River Killer, I think they were motivated, and the BTK were motivated by two different things. At least they acted like they were. Oh, I forgot my wife. I forgot my wife got me a coffee. She's probably. Oh, I don't want to interrupt your live stream. Dang it, woman! I need that coffee. She knows I need my coffee in the morning. Plus, I want a kiss. Miracle Heart says, "Oh, I believe he was into online pornography. His wife looked like she walked up on him viewing it in the car. No, he was like looking at a crossword puzzle." I don't know. I just have a feeling that some of these predators are a little bit better at hiding it. Not all of them are uncontrolled like weirdos. 1 second, guys. Spill it all over my beard. So I get coffee and I add 2 shots of espresso. Keeps catching on my beard. CJK, hey, Alan may have had these dark thoughts for years. BTK thought about killing starting in his teens. Then he started living his sick fantasy. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. He was under the supervision. He may have latched onto this woman. We know they've been married since right out of high school. It's a long time to be with somebody. You know what I mean? So the second he loses her, to having to take care of her mom and spending time in Peru, to me that ties in the Klein part and puts him out on his own. So we have a person who may have a dark streak, who is now on their own for the first time to go experiment with those perversions. And let's say you run into a Kagan Klein, after a night out at the bar or whoever else is hanging out there. I mean, that's not a good combination. You're not hanging out with the good crowd there, buddy, if that's the case. Anna says the brother-in-law obituary described him as dedicated to caring for his mom. I could imagine comparisons being made in the heat of the moment. Yeah, why can't you be more like my brother? Why do I always find these magazines? Why can't you be more like my brother? I'm saying we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. That's what scares me. I mean, I always assume that killers were born and they're like, hey, as a child, they're like, one day I'm going to kill. I don't know when it is, but one day it will happen. I can tell that I'm a homicidal maniac, and I can't stop thinking about hurting people. To me, that's what killers are. They hide it, they hide it, they hide it until one day they snap. But what about these types that are just living a normal life, and then a whole set of circumstances happen and create a killer? I mean, is that possible? Fur Baby Daddy says possibly there's just to commit to off himself, changes his mind, and then is triggered. Yeah, he could have been out there to hurt himself and says, hey, I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm going to express this anger outward. We don't know. And I hope that Richard Allen will kind of confess to his role in this, everybody that was involved. But most importantly, he needs to kind of say why. Like, why would you guys do this? Ivy's asking, didn't they take DNA from male residents? I don't know. I don't know if there are any male residents. All of the above. Yeah, let's take a look at those poll results. Okay, so the question was, what makes this case so strange? The video and the audio of the killer. 40% of you voted that. Corruption in Carroll County. 21%. Two sketches. 18%. Richard Allen came forward early on. 18%. And 179 of you voted. But honestly, the right answer for me was all of the above. Yeah. CJK says, Ivy, in a video of Allen, it showed a gimpy gait, which to me, the BG has a gimpy gait in addition to the rickety bridge. Yeah, there's a video of him playing pool, and he kind of has that walk. Yeah, and this is crazy. Look, is that not the same damn jacket? To me, these are the arguments that they're going to use in court. Like, why didn't he get rid of this clothes? Right here, this is the one. Matt, hello, says the reason behind the new direction presser is a huge key in my opinion. I have so many questions about the whole process. Yeah, I feel like the younger looking sketch may be the second suspect. Yeah. Anna says the comment about Richard Allen's computer skills has been attributed to the good hacker Alex Voorhees based on Alex search Richard Allen's on. Yeah, and we don't know if they found everything. There could be some things online that nobody knows about. But I have a feeling that Richard Allen, I don't think he was alone. And I think the younger sketch could just very well be law enforcement's confusion about the whole matter. Hey, Kamala. Welcome. Brown Skittle says, I don't think that witness immediately walked back to her car after seeing Richard Allen because I believe the PC says she drove back past the Harvest store camera about 20 minutes after this. Yeah, she pulled up and then left at 2:14. But the reason I believe she walked to the bridge and back was because of the time frame. We know that Kelsey pulled up just right after her. So how is she able to see the bridge guy, walk all the way to the Freedom Bridge, and then catch the girls? The girls would have already been to the bridge by that point because it takes 11 minutes to walk from Freedom Bridge to the Monon High Bridge. So that would have been over 20 minutes from when she saw the bridge guy. So, in my opinion, she parked. She maybe wanted to come look at the bridge, saw the guy, and then says, I'm out of here. Because if she went to the Freedom Bridge, she would have been gone for 20 minutes, and the girls would have already been on the bridge and already down the hill. Because we know that they were confronted by the bridge guy the exact moment she was spotted at 2:14 leaving the area. So she's already in her car leaving. So for her to catch the girls means that she sat in her car for a while. Unless they don't have the time frame right and she walked to Freedom Bridge and came back. I have no clue. Yeah, something doesn't add up there, huh? Charlotte, hello, says, do we know why they mentioned the guy would look young and possibly be 18? No. I would like to know who reported the younger sketch. What did they see? Where did they see this younger looking person? Why were they only giving an eyewitness account on the 17th? Because, I mean, they sat on that young-looking sketch. They had it from February 17th, just a few days after the murders. But it meant nothing to them. Why 2 years go by and now it means something? Man, so crazy. So we're going to hang out for another 10 minutes, guys, and I'm going to get out of here. But we will be going live tonight. I cleared out everything off of my calendar because I wanted to talk about Delphi, and I haven't done my morning shows in a couple days. I just haven't really felt like it, you know. Sometimes I just don't want to. I don't want to be inside. I get cramped up, and I got to figure out a way to go, either go for a hike, go golfing, or I can't be balled up and boxed in the house all the time. I got to get out. Base Girl says, I have some thoughts. Mini Richard Allen creeped the witnesses out, so she left. Also, is there any chance that his brother-in-law was involved in the preparation of the crime? Richard Allen performed the assault for him. No, I doubt that. This person died September of 2016. From what I read, he was a pretty good person. But like I said, that's just an obituary. We don't know what the case was. But from what I read, he was a nice guy taking care of his mom. This could be the tragedy that just set, the ball in motion. You take a closet predator, if that's what Richard Allen is, who's been under the watchful eye of his wife, throw him out on his own, to survive and maybe at odds with his wife. Maybe they were fighting. Or maybe he just didn't have her. He's alone. He's bored. What do I do? I'm going to go out to the bars. I'm going to make some friends. Who'd you make friends with in Peru? A lot of people don't realize this guy may have been spending a lot of his time in Peru, up the street, nonetheless, from the clients. Yes, Cindy, hot mess indeed. So let me grab a couple more of these comments here. Matt H. Here's a good one. As unlikely as it may be, because as far as we know, Richard Allen didn't do the internet. But have you ever thought, Sleuth, that Richard Allen may have potentially been here watching along one of your previous streams? Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, I think it's possible. Do you guys keep up with wife Lilith and the crazy stuff that she posts? So here is the latest that she's brought to my attention, or the attention of YouTube anyway. Did you guys get a chance to see this? Okay, so there's a YouTube channel out there called Richards_Shadow, and you can add it at Rick's Shadow. And it says here the account was created October 12th, 2022. That would be the day before they searched Richard Allen's home. But I do notice there's an underscore here, Richards_Shadow. We know that's what Lilith does. She puts wife_Lilith. And I'm sure she does that because of the Anthony Shots account, which is kind of gross. Rescue All Dogs with a $4.99 super sticker. Thank you for the support. Mother of Dragons, thank you so much. $4.99 super sticker. I love you guys for that. I appreciate you. Says there's another one down here. Let me zip on down to the bottom. Wow, I'm way behind. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Shane, super chat. Hi, Sleuth. Have you heard the cause of death is different with Abby and Libby? Very early on, it was a common theory. Yeah, I think I've actually now have seen the real ones. Well, at least the real one for Libby. And it's pretty much what we expect. And then a little bit of, I think water was found in the lungs, which would make sense because of the creek. Hey, the unsolved. The second sketch may have been Anthony Shots, and then only later they found out Shots was truly Klein. Well, Yeah, it could be because it was created on the 17th. Could be someone came forward, said, "Hey, I saw a younger looking guy that Libby was talking to," not knowing that it was a catfish account. But they were fully aware of the clients, and I think they would have made that connection before 2019. Czar81, Sleuth. My understanding is that the early sketch was the first sketch based off of a friend that knew about Libby communicating with somebody on social media. Yeah, that's kind of what the Unsolved is saying. But I just don't see them. I think they would have understood that by 2019. Like, okay, you guys are describing this guy, right? Because they knew who Anthony Shots was from February, at least from February 23rd. Shane says she's not well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she created this account, but if she did create it, why did she create it on the 12th, the day before Richard Allen was searched? And let's read this description here. And of course, they went out of their way. So I don't know if there's a way to fake this. Not sure. But they did go out of their way to put the date here, October 13th. And this could have been put up yesterday. I don't know if you can fake this part, but this could have been updated yesterday with this date. So I don't know. Maybe Lilith just has that many fake accounts and she created one on the 12th and she's like, I'll use that one and then I'll change this here. Put a picture of Richard, call it Richard's shadow. She likes to do stuff like that. But if you can't fix this, this is very peculiar. But either way, I'm going to read it. It's most likely trolling, but we're going to take everything, all the information we can get our hands on. All right. Description October 13th, 2022. Today will change everything. This is the day that Richard Allen was searched officially. When he closes his eyes tonight and tries to sleep, he will know his days are really limited, and his sleepless nights will drive him to be who he was in 2017. So this seems to me like somebody using the information about his current situation, him kind of showing some mental health issues and some issues, requesting to be moved and all that stuff. So it seems like they're using that information and incorporating it here. Nights will drive him to be who he was in 2017. Rick, may the odds be in your favor. It's 12:41 p.m. Richard's probably handing over everything that's going to ruin them. Everything they've been hiding for 6 years is being forced now. He knows he's doomed if he talks, and doomed if he don't. Doomed if he talks, and doomed if he don't. He still is going to go on to work tomorrow and act like they never came today, like they didn't have fear in their own eyes, knowing what he got them into. So it's because we know that he did go to work. See, they're using information and they're acting like it came out on the 13th, but they've very well could have written this just a few days ago. Acting like he isn't worried, careless that he is about to be forced to tell on them too. Maybe it's because he's dead inside. Maybe it's because the alcohol lies to him when the devil wants him to play in the rain. Maybe he knows everyone in town knows. Maybe he really isn't worried. He has talked to the same cops so many times before today. I had to tell, even though I promised not to. So very strange. There's no videos, there's no playlist, there's no nothing. It's just this description. This is the CVS back here. You can see it, CVS Pharmacy. Just very strange. Snarky Sass Angel, good to see you. Richard Allen is not doomed. He's not BG. Carter is ridiculous making this claim against Richard Allen. You don't think Richard Allen is the bridge guy? I'm interested to hear. I'm listening. What you got? I have Office number 23, and the clue is there, I promise. No, it's not. The clue is not there, guys, just so you know. You can go and check it out, but it's not there. There's no clues there. That's the home of the fake Abby image. So if you want to waste your time, feel free. Yeah, Shane, people are really strange. Like, why would you do this? Why would you make this? I mean, it fits her MO. So I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it's her or not her, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, Tina Baldwin says maybe KK did some things. That doesn't mean he had anything to do with the Abby and Libby murder. Yeah, I don't think he had anything to do with the planning of it, but I think he knows. He's known this entire time that Richard Allen was involved, and I believe that the Wabash search and all that led to Richard Allen, or gave them what they needed. You don't think Richard Allen is a bridge guy? Okay. I mean, it's kind of strange. He's dressed like him, admits to being there. Here we go with the Photoshop. Yeah, exactly. No, a killer's not going to give law enforcement evidence. Oh, here's a fake video to mislead you. No, if anything, you're just handing over evidence of you falsifying information, which makes you look suspect. If they were able to link any phone that Allen owned to the Shots account, Allen is screwed. Don't rule that possibility out from the Wabash search. That's what I think exactly happened. I believe they found a phone, and that phone is tied to Richard Allen. And it's most likely the phone that logged in and logged into the account the morning on Canal Street at the Klein residence. You know, they logged in and logged out of the Anthony Shot Snapchat account. That's most likely what was on that phone. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. The timing of everything. And if you got someone like a wife Lilith who's talking to Keegan Klein, you know, and this is right after the search, we know that she was talking to him during this time, her and a couple other people. She could have had intimate knowledge. This is actually around the same time where Keegan was going around telling people he was waiting in a Jeep while some other people went and committed the crime, but that he was involved. So the same time that information was coming out, Richard Allen is being searched. So whoever made this could very well have had information from Keegan Klein about Richard Allen, and they could have said, well, they're about to serve a search warrant on him. That person goes and creates this account and puts all this information in here. But the thing is YouTube channels are hard to find. If you have no subscribers, if you have no videos, there's millions of accounts out there. You could type in Richards_shadow, and there's a chance that this account may not even pop up. It took me a while to find it. You know, I had to go looking for it. So, I mean, she could have created it on the 12th, updated it on the 13th, and was just waiting for people to stumble upon it. When nobody did, she just posted it out there like, hey guys, look, you know, nobody's finding it. Here you go. You know, looks like something she created. Richards_shadow, just like wife_Lilith, just like Anthony_shots. The Unsolved says, the great thing is Allen appears to not have known he was being filmed. Yeah, I don't think he knew. It wasn't. And that is what screwed him too. Libby and Abby are heroes. I agreed. I don't think that he was aware. I think if he was, and maybe he was aware and he couldn't find the phone. I'm still trying to figure out what he was doing there for an hour and 45 minutes. He could have been sitting there like, what have I done? What do I do now? He could have been sitting there for an hour. and then spent the last 45 minutes moving and staging and panicking and trying to mislead investigators. But yeah, I don't think he would have come forward to a conservation officer if he knew that he was being filmed. So him admitting to that, yeah, he might be screwed. That's a good point, Unsolved. So shout out to Libby for getting that video for sure, and audio. And she did talk about going into crime scene investigating, CSI. So she's no dummy. All right, guys, we are going to start closing it out. Wanted to give you guys a nice long 2-hour stream because I missed a couple days there. But I think we're going to make it pretty regular. I cleared my whole calendar out next week for morning shows for Delphi until this case is solved. I think people need to know what's going on over there in Carroll County because I can't put my finger on it. And they shouldn't be able to operate the way they're operating without people noticing. Something is definitely up there. And that scares me. Imagine living in a small town where this one group of people controls everything. If you want to purchase land, you got to go through this group. If you want to start a business, you got to go through this group. If you need to have something legal, if you're going through some kind of legal trouble or legal hoops, you got to go through this group. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it's one group that's controlling all facets of that society there in that Carroll County. I don't think things should operate that way. And I also find it strange that they've kind of taken the FBI out of this case. And I don't know if that's because the FBI just sucks, which they might, and which they probably do, or they don't want their prying eyes. But either way, strangest case I've ever looked into, hands down. And that's only because the further we get and the more information we get, the stranger the case gets. And I can't call it. JC Marty. So I want to thank everybody who participated in the chat. Everybody that donated to my channel today, thank you. You guys keep this channel up and running. I can't do it. Time is money. And if I can't supplement, a few $100s a month, I can't spend the amount of time that I would like to covering this case, talking with you guys about other cases, inviting great guests on. But I can't do it without your guys' support, and I get lots of it, and I love you guys for it. So thank you. We're going to continue on. This channel is very strong right now. I see a long future for us guys, but I can't do it without your help. So thank you again. If you're part of the replay crew, leave a comment. We'll get back to you. And make sure you join us tonight for a true crime call-in. Let me turn this music down to see a little bit. Okay, so tonight we're going to have a true crime call-in live stream. What we'll do is you'll call in, you'll bring up a live stream, and we'll learn about it together. We're going to pull it up. Whatever you're interested, whatever cases have caught your attention, anything you want to put out there, bring awareness to, we're going to pull it up and we're going to learn about all these cases together tonight. So that's what we got planned later. Shout out to Anthony France. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, the comments really help. People participating in the chat, just coming and going. into the community. It helps out a lot. You're welcome, Mother of Dragons. Always good to see you. Will be 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a late night hangout. I'm going to take calls. You're going to call in. You're going to bring up a true crime case. And we're going to pull it up and we're going to learn about it together. We can do old cases. We can do new cases. We can do things that are personal for you that you would like to bring attention to. We're just going to hang out and talk true crime. So hopefully I'll see all you guys there tonight. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you, V. Marie. Always good to see you. Shane says 4 a.m. here. I'll be very drunk. I don't know if I'll be drinking, but I plan to go to the dispensary. So yeah, we're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be just a chill time to bring attention to whatever cases you guys are into. I mean, after all, this is a true crime channel, and that's what we're going to talk about. Thank you, BN. You have a great weekend as well. Oh, yeah, Scott Peterson. Yeah, that was a crazy case. That poor woman. That kind of reminds me of the Watts. All right. Later, guys. I will see you tonight. Be there or be square.